Hi, guys. Welcome back to Guy Set, a guy's guide to what should be talked about. So, in sex ed class, we used to do this thing. Wait, pause. Hold on. Sex ed class, we used to do this thing where we had. Sorry, I can't get through that sentence. We had a question box where you could ask the teacher anything anonymously. So, no one had to feel like embarrassed or weird asking questions, and you could just put your questions into this anonymous box. You had like slips like this, and the teacher would answer two to three of them at the end of every class. Now, people barely asked questions because like no one knew what to say or what to ask, but like we all kind of memed it because who wouldn't meme an anonymous question box? So one day you got a slip at the end of every class and you had to write something on it and put it in the box. And I wrote cunt. Like I literally just wrote the word cunt because I think I had just learned it. I thought it'd be funny for him to pick it up and read cunt. And then I got nervous that I would get expelled from school because they would find out that I was the person who wrote cunt. They would fingerprint the paper and find out that I was the one, and they would match our handwriting and signatures to the paper. They'd find out that I was the person that did that, and I would get suspended or expelled from school. So one day during lunch, I left lunch early with my friends and snuck up to that teacher's classroom and got into the question box. It wasn't locked at all. It was literally just like a cardboard box you could lift, whatever. It was so stupid. It was like a shoebox. I read through all of the questions to find mine that literally just said the C word and took it out, obviously threw it away, disposed of it. I probably put it in my pocket and brought it home just because I was so nervous that I would be caught onto. But I read through a lot of the questions that were asked, and I don't really remember what they said, but I thought that would be a good way to anonymously answer the questions that you guys write into me. So I guess I didn't really need to that story. I didn't need to tell you that story to give you the premise, but like that was the reason why I'm doing it this way instead of just like reading them off my phone, because I think it's more fun for me to not know what question is coming next. So these are questions that I have compiled over the past 2 weeks that have come in from you guys that I found online, that questions that guys are asking, want to know the answers to, want advice on. And I thought it'd be a fun way for me to not really know what's coming up next by just picking out of the questions that are in this hat right here. So I really do not know what question is going to be coming up next. I wrote the questions down because someone had to do that, and I don't have, like, it's just me doing this whole thing. So I wrote them down, but I really don't know what. I forget a lot of them. So I'm going to be answering everything on the spot as that teacher did if he had found. How funny would that have been if he just read the word cunt? Like, what would he have done? I don't know. But he'd probably been like, seriously, guys? And then everyone would be laughing because we were in ninth grade, and that'd be really funny. But anyway, I'm going to read these questions and then answer them honestly and with the best of my ability and just share my thoughts on them. So let's begin. And if I'm ever silent, it's because I'm grasping the questions and then trying to read them. And let's see if I can even read my handwriting, because I did this a little while ago. Okay. The first question is, how do I know if I should keep going on dates or end things with the girl I'm seeing? That is a great question. I think that, how do I know if I should keep going on dates? I think, sorry, I was distracted with that whole story. I told you that was a little, like, that was wild. I just remembered that. It was like you know, when you think of things, sorry, let me stay on track. How do I know if I should keep going on dates or end things with the girl I'm seeing? I think, honestly, you know the answer to that question when you wrote that question in, or whenever that question popped into your head. And if you have that question and you're not sure if you should keep going on dates, my first piece of advice would be to go on one or two more dates to suss it out, to really get the vibe, to understand her a little bit more, to understand your feelings a little bit more. Like, the whole point of going on dates early on, 3, 4, 5 dates, is to see if you vibe with this person, to see if you like the way you are around that person and you are you around that person. That's the whole point of going on dates. And I think a lot of the time we get lost in the idea that we're supposed to do they like me? Do they like me enough? Am I doing the best I can do? Am I putting my best foot forward? Am I presenting myself the way I want to present myself? But realistically, the whole point of going on dates is to make sure that you can be you around that person and they like you for that and you like them for that. That's it. That it's sparky, that you're enjoying the time with them. You like yourself around them and you feel like the most full version of yourself, that you feel like a better person around them, and they make you a better person, and you like the way you act around them, and you're not putting on a front, and you're not all of those things. So if you feel like you haven't seen that through enough, I would say go on one or two more dates, and those next few dates will then determine if this person gives you those feelings, if you believe that this is a person you want to keep seeing or keep going on dates with. I don't think there needs to be a specific cutoff or a specific timeline that like you have to have this all figured out by. Like, I don't think you need to know by let's say it's 4, 5, or 6. Like, I don't think you need to know by 6 if you want to date this person. I don't think you need to know that. But I think it should be feeling like that is the direction you're going if you're still continuing to go on those dates. Like, I wouldn't just keep going on those dates because you feel like you're going to break that person's heart or you think they like you. I think it's really important that you like them, that obviously that you like them, but to only keep going on those dates if you're vibing with it, and that's it. Like, there's so many people, there's so many opportunities, especially now that we're young, we're in our early 20s, maybe even up to our early 30s. Like, there's still a lot of time to figure it all out. So don't try to fit a square peg in a round hole if it's not fitting. And if you think I don't know, this question didn't have a specific like timing of the dates, but if you think it's not working and you're not feeling it, then it's probably time to end it. And I'm assuming if you wrote this question in that you're probably leaning toward the side of like, I don't know. So I would say go on one or two more dates to figure that out. But then you should know by then. And if you're still not feeling like it's working, or you're feeling like you're gaining or learning more from it, then it's probably time to cut it off. And I feel like you probably knew that answer before you wrote it in, and you'll figure it out sooner rather than later. Like, I would think you'll figure it out in the next date. And if you go on the next date and it's not working, then it's not working, and that's okay too. And then give yourself a little bit of time and then put yourself back out there. Okay. The next question is, actually, let me go back to that for another second. I had a bunch of these experiences early on in my time in New York. Like, I would go on like 3 or 4 dates and then be like, do I like this person? Like, do I want to keep going out with her? I don't know. And then I would give myself, I would say, okay, like, let me go on one more date. Let me see if one more date changes my mind, because that could, like, you the more time you spend with somebody, the more you get to know them and the more you get to know yourself around them, the more comfortable you both get. And that could take more time depending on the person, depending on the personalities you're mixing. And I think that's totally okay too. So there's no timeline to follow, and there's no one that can really give you advice on this topic. You know the answer by the way you're feeling. So I would sit with your own thoughts for a little bit. I don't know, go on a walk, write them out, do whatever you need to do to get your feelings out, talk with a friend about it. But at the end of the day, you know which way you want to go, if you want to keep seeing her or if you want to stop seeing her. And only you can tell yourself that answer. Okay, now I can go to the next question. I feel like I finally finished that one. Okay. What are some things you've bought that have made your life easier? I feel like I've answered this type of question before, and I always start by saying Manscaped, because that has made my life easier, and those assholes at Manscaped will not sponsor this podcast to save my life, but I would love for them to. And they also have a nose hair trimmer. Now, this is a little we're getting into the weeds of it, the literal weeds of it. We're getting into it. These types of things make your life easier because nobody tells you that you have nose hairs like sticking out of your nose. And now that we're getting like a little bit older, like we have shit like that we have to take care of. Actually, I had a friend the other day. He was like, "You have a nose hair sticking out," and I was like, "Oh shit!" So I was like trying to like tuck it back in to my nose, but back at home, I have this no-touch trimmer that I just like bzz, bzz, and then I'm like, I'm all good. Same with the downstairs area. Like, it's all good. You just have to take care of yourself, and these little tools, these little things make your life easier. I don't know why I went right to those, but those are the things that I've used recently that have made my life easier. What else has made my life easier? Wow, I go right to like trimming. What has made my life easier? I don't know. What has made my life easier? Ice cube trays. I like those. Those have made my life easier. I don't know. Oh, I have a phone wallet. I have a phone wallet thing that has made my life easier. So instead of having to carry around a wallet, because I lose everything and I also forget everything. So instead of having to leave the house every time and being like, oh shit, where's my wallet? Or fuck, like I lost my ID or I don't have it with me. In the back of my phone, I have this little wallet case that just slides right open and I have a credit card and my ID right there. That has made my life way easier. Yeah, I think that's a good answer. I'm going to leave it there. Okay, the next question is, drum roll please. Oh, this is a long one. Can I read my handwriting? Okay. I'm moving in with my girlfriend. Congratulations. Happy for you. That sounds amazing. How should we split rent? P.S. I'm making more than she is. That is an interesting question. I would say if you're making more, then you should pay more because you can afford more. And I'm assuming you are wanting a nicer place because you make more. So you should probably split it. Like, I don't know how to do math, but I would do the math. Like, I would do whether it's 60-40 or whether it's 70-30. Like, depending on how much you're making, depending on how much she's making, you should be paying more. I think that's what you said. Yeah, wait, let me find what you said. How should we split? Yeah, you shouldn't split it evenly. Like, I'm assuming you weren't going to split it evenly, but I wouldn't split it evenly because you're making more than she is and you can afford more. And, like, I think she'll appreciate that too. And you can also buy some of the other, like, stuff you need, pots, pans, and just be a good boyfriend. And congratulations. I hope you guys have a great time together. I think the idea of living with, I don't know. I think about the idea of living with your significant other a lot. I have a bunch of friends moving in with their girlfriends right now this year coming up. Like 3 or 4 of my good friends are moving in with their girlfriends for the first time. And I think it's a good thing to do before you get engaged or before you take the next step because you want to figure out how you guys live together. So that wasn't your question. I'm just going on to my thoughts about it. Congratulations. I hope you have a great time together and, I hope you don't kill each other. And I hope you have everything you want from this life. The next question is, how do you recommend I set up my dating profile? Ooh, I like this one. I have talked about this one before too. I think it's really important that you show a bunch of different facets of you and not just like the person that you think people want to see. So I think it's really important that you display the person you really are. So whether you play a sport, you should put that on. I don't know. I haven't made a dating profile in a while, so maybe I'm not the right person to answer this question at this exact moment. But I had my friend Luke on so long ago. Maybe it was probably like the 20-ish episode. We did 2 parts because he talked a lot about dating profiles. And I think he gave, let me find the episode title and number, but he gave really good dating advice on how to set up a dating profile. And it's episodes 19 and 20 of Guy Set. And he gave really good advice on setting up your dating profile. And he shares like the unique sides of himself and the parts that like he likes about himself, not just the parts that he thinks people are going to like about him, which I think makes him unique and it makes him accessible and people are like just easier to talk to for people. So I think you should put the pictures you think you look the best in. I think you should try and be funny and relatable and answer. I don't know. Maybe I'll go into like this more with the actual prompts that I like. But I think you should try to be funny, try to be relatable. Make sure that every prompt you have is something that somebody can respond to or like be ignited by. So it shouldn't be something that's kind of flat that nobody can answer to. Like you've definitely seen people on dating apps where you literally can't respond to their question or their prompt because there's nothing else to say. So then you have to like a picture, respond to a picture, and no one wants to respond to a picture. So make sure that your prompts are respondable, because that's how you're going to start the conversation or how somebody's going to start the conversation with you. So whether that's a like, I don't know, whether it's like a controversial take or it's not too controversial. Don't get like political or anything, or don't get, just save all that for later. But just put the parts out of you that you like and not the things that you think people are going to like, because that will make you more likable. Okay. That wasn't a great one. Next. Do I have to stay over if we hook up? I don't think so. I think, though, that you should make it clear that you're not going to, if you're not going to, before you hook up. So if you're going over someone's house, if you're going over like a girl's house, and you plan to hook up but you don't plan on staying over, just make that clear before you go over, or make that clear when you like early on when you're hanging out, or text before and say like, hey, I have to get up early tomorrow, or hey, I have to head back tonight, or do whatever. Like, it doesn't matter, but make it clear before you go over or early on in the hangout that you're not going to stay over, because I think if you don't, it can lead to like a really kind of awkward conversation where it's you're either disappointing the person or letting them down, or just changing and shifting the expectation that they had in their head. And I think it's so important to make sure that the expectation that they have aligns with the expectation you're setting, if that makes sense, and that you're not changing the thing that they have in their mind like during a time that wouldn't be great to do that, which is like after you hook up, because then it could feel like you're in it for the wrong reasons or you're there for the wrong reasons. So just make sure that you set that expectation before, make sure that it's clear that you're not going to be staying over, share the reason why, and she'll be totally fine with it like anybody would be, but just make sure you set that before, because I think you'll get yourself into problems or a situation that you don't want to be in if you like hook up and you're like, all right, like I'm going to head out now, see ya, and if she expected that you were going to stay over, because that would not be a great look. So set the expectation before, and then I think you're totally fine. So I don't think you have to stay over, but just make sure that you make it clear before. The next question is, oh, this is a long one. What did I write here? My handwriting is so ass. I don't know if you can see it. I've been seeing this girl for about 5 dates, and I really like her, but I'm not sure if she feels the same way. Do you have any advice? Yes, I do. I think if you've gone on 5 dates so far, that means she probably likes you, because she's still going on the dates, and like nobody's forcing her to go on these dates. And I wouldn't overthink it so much. I would keep feeling out the vibe of the dates and your text conversations and seeing the way that they're going. I could totally understand that you may take my advice from the first question and apply it to this one, which is like you should feel out dates as you go. So this kind of 5-date period may be the moment where you're like, does she like me? And I totally get that. Like, I think that's understandable. I think anybody would understand that, or I think anybody's working through that around this time in the dating. But if she's still going on dates with you, if she's still texting you back, if she's still involved and excited, and you can tell, you can read that vibe. I think anybody can when you're seeing somebody. So you'll be able to read that vibe. But if you're not sure if she feels the same way, then I wouldn't like rush to jump in to be like, hey, can we be exclusive? Or hey, like, I would just, let me take a second. Let me take a beat. I would not rush in and keep feeling out the dates and keep texting, keep vibing. And I think you'll understand. Like, I think people are so much easier to read than we give off, and we kind of overcomplicate it sometimes. So if they're responding often, if they're excited about the dates, if on the dates the conversation is great and you're going back and hanging out, or you're talking outside the date often, and like you can read the vibe pretty easily. So don't overcomplicate it. Don't overthink it around this time. Just keep feeling out how it's going, and you'll be able to understand it from there. I think that's what I would say. but don't spend all of your time overthinking or in your head like, oh my god, like I like her so much more than she does. She doesn't like me as much as I do. Like what do I do? Like how do I know if she likes me as much as I do? Like that it's so easy to stay in that headspace and keep like spiraling about that. And she will answer that question for you so much better than you could ever answer in your own head about if she likes you as much as you like her. The the like vibe she gives off will answer that way better than you could ever answer that for yourself. So keep texting, keep going on the dates, and the answer will provide itself for you in black and white shortly. Okay, the next question is another long one that I can't read my handwriting. When should I have the conversation about being exclusive, and how do I not make it awkward? Wow, to follow up the last one, that's like perfect. You would think that I didn't do these randomly, but I did. Um, when should I have the conversation about being exclusive, and how do I not make it awkward? I would I don't know, these terminologies of like exclusive and dating and all these things, like I think the most important thing to ask is like, or the most important thing to confirm is if you're seeing other people. Because if you're not seeing other people, then you're exclusive. And those two things are hand in hand. And we overcomplicate it with all these terms. And I saw something recently that was just like, we as a generation have overcomplicated dating so much where it is more simple than all the shit we make it and all the things we talk about or the things that we spiral about. Like, if you're not seeing anybody else and she's not seeing anybody else, I think that's probably what you should confirm around this time. Like, how do I have the conversation without it being awkward? I would say, like, hey, I'm not seeing any other people right now, and I don't want to be. Or I'm not seeing anybody else, and I don't want to be. Are you? And how do you feel about that? And I think that's a totally normal conversation to have, especially around the time. A lot of these questions are about like that middle of date period, not the earlier, but like when it's getting a little bit more serious. So happy for everybody that's sending these in. But I would phrase it like that. I would say, hey, I'm not seeing anybody else and I don't want to. I really like you and I like spending time with you. How do you feel about that? And like, what are you feeling? That I think that's not awkward. And I think these are important conversations to have in any relationship. And I think if you trust the person and you like them, and I'm sure they're a great person if you're spending time with them because you're probably a great person. So I think that that's the best way to have the conversation. And it's not like, hey, I want to be exclusive. Like, hey, do you want to be exclusive with me? Like, just phrase it like the way I said it. And it's just, hey, I'm not seeing anybody else right now. I don't want to be. What do you feel? Like, how do you feel about this? Because I really like you. I like spending time with you, and I want to keep spending time with you. The next question is, it feels like there's nothing I can do to impress my boss. I'm sorry, I'm not laughing at that part. I'm laughing at the second part. It feels like there's nothing I can do to impress my boss. Should I just quit? No, you shouldn't just quit. Yes, you should quit. You should quit your job and go work on a farm. No, you shouldn't just quit your job because you feel like you're not impressing your boss. And I have been exactly where you are. I feel like I'm where you are right now, honestly, that I'm not impressing my boss that much. And there's not a lot I feel like I can do that can or will. And I think that a lot of our jobs and a lot of our careers have these ebbs and flows where you can't consistently like impress your boss day in and day out unless you're like the best worker ever. Expectations change, companies shift, goals shift, OKRs, whatever you call your goals at your companies, like things shift and priorities change and things misalign and people leave, and it's hard to maintain a level of impressiveness all the time. It's hard to always feel like you're doing a great job at work or feel like your boss thinks you're doing a great job. So I think what you're feeling is very normal, and I want to confirm that for you because I feel that way now, right now, honestly, at my job, and I have felt that before, but there's also times where I feel like I am doing a really good job, and I am impressing my boss, and I feel like I am being successful, and then there's that other feeling, and it comes back and forth, and it goes back and forth, and I think the best thing you can do is to have a conversation with them about your performance and about what you're doing and what you can be doing to improve or things you can be doing to get better. And I think it's just being very honest and very transparent about that. I don't think you have to say that you feel like you're not impressing them, but I would say something along the lines of like, is there anything I could be doing for you better? Is there anything that you'd like me to be doing? Is there anything that I can help you with? Those are 3, 4, whatever good questions that you can be asking at work that I think will make your boss feel like you're giving an effort, you're giving it your all, you're trying, and you're succeeding. I learned that I end most of my meetings with my boss, my manager, by saying, is there anything else I can be doing for you? Is there anything else you'd like me to do? Is there any other questions that I can answer for you? By putting it on yourself as the person that can be like the hero or the helper, I think is the best way to phrase it. So is there anything else I can be doing for you? Is there any other questions I can answer for you? I think those are 2 really good ways to phrase this and make sure that you are stepping up and trying to impress the person that you want to impress, because at the end of the day we all want to impress our boss or our manager or the person we work for, because we want to get a promotion or a raise and we want to keep succeeding and keep climbing and keep growing. So those are good ways to make sure that you're still doing that. And if you really feel like you're not, just have a conversation and be like, hey, I feel like something's misaligned, or I'm not doing something right. Or maybe I wouldn't phrase it like that, but I would just say like, hey, like, is there anything I could be doing to improve? Is there any feedback you have for me? That's a good way to say it. I would say, is there any feedback you have for me? And you'll know right then and there if they have something to say to you. And maybe they won't, and this could all be something you're overthinking. But at the same time, if they have feedback for you, that's totally okay. I would take the feedback, say thank you very much for your feedback. I will absolutely work on this and this. Or thank you for telling me that. I am going to improve, and I'd love to talk again in a couple weeks and see if I have improved or I have stepped up in that way. And then see how we can continue from there. I think those are all great things to do at this time or this stage of feeling in your job. Sorry, I had to burp. Okay, the next question is, Hinge is not working. What should I do? I'm not laughing again. It's just the way I read it. I didn't mean to laugh at your question. Let me reread that. I thank you everybody for writing questions in. I really appreciate it. And like, I love doing these episodes because it's fun for me, and I hope for you listener. Hinge is not working. Let me reread it. I'm going to read it in a more serious tone. Hinge is not working. What should I do? I've been there. We've all been there. I think every single guy listening, watching, writing in has been there. That the dating app you're on feels like it's unsuccessful, feels like there's nothing you can be doing, feels like you're not getting matches, feels like nobody's responding to you. The people you're scrolling through aren't your type, and it's just like a big fat shit show. And I think that is a period that everybody goes through in like dating or trying to date or starting to date. So what I would say to you is that like these apps are all algorithms. So I would reset your profile. First and foremost, if you want to stay on Hinge, if you want to like keep going on Hinge, one, I would maybe take a break, and like maybe you're getting like overwhelmed by all of this and you're getting in your head about it. So I would like put the app down for a week and stop refreshing it, or stop like waiting for the notifications to come in, stop scrolling through. I also think you could get premium. Like, I'm not sponsored by Hinge, obviously. Like, no fucking shit, I'm not sponsored by Hinge. But I think that would help your algorithm, because when I got Hinge Premium, it absolutely helped my algorithm. And you could like you could scroll forever and like forever, and you get more likes and you get more like roses and opportunities on there. So I think if you want to keep going on Hinge, I would say get premium if you don't already have it. If you do already have it and you still feel like this isn't working, like really take a break from the app for a minute or for a little bit. Like take a break from the dating apps, put the phone down, and like just reset. Sometimes we can get so overwhelmed with this dating game and feel like we're losing when it's not a game and we're not losing, and there's still time and there's never not time. So just take a break, put the phone down. But you can also reset your profile, change out your prompts, change your photos, and like reset yourself on the app. And that may give you more opportunities, or more, it may start working for you. You said Hinge is not working. So that may give you more opportunities. yeah, like either you have like four good options here. One, like get premium because that may give you more opportunities. Two, put the phone down, take a little bit of a break, maybe go outside, go like meet. Not that I'm saying you're like a person who stays inside all the time, but like maybe go and look for other opportunities, like go out with some friends or go out and like try talking to a girl at a bar or not, fuck, I'm phrasing this badly. Just try a different way instead of just relying on one way. Um, the third option I said was to reset your profile and change out your images, change out your prompts. I think those are all like good things to do, but it will work. I've like seen some friends' profiles and like they hated what the matches they were getting, and then after like a week it reset. So I think the app has to also like get to know you. It's an algorithm at the end of the day. Like it has to like see who you like, see who you're swiping with, see who you're matching with. But yeah, either take a break, reset all of it, and there's other apps too. So like if you want to date on the apps, I don't know, try like there's like four others. But there's a lot of ways to meet people. There's a lot of other ways outside of dating apps, outside of bars. Like there's a lot of other things you can do that I'm blanking on right now. But there are ways to meet people outside of your phone too. Okay, the last question is, wow. Okay, this is kind of similar to one of the other ones. How do I know if she's seeing other guys? Okay, I would ask. I think there's no other way to know outside of asking her the question, and I would phrase it the same way I phrased the other answer I was giving, or the other piece of advice I was giving, is like, hey, I'm assuming you don't want her to be seeing other guys if you're asking this question. So I would say, hey, I'm not seeing any other girls. I don't want to be seeing any other girls. Are you seeing other people, or like how do you feel about this? Or you could just say, hey, I'm not seeing any other people. Like how do you feel about this? Or, hey, I'm not seeing any other girls. How do you feel about what's going on here? Because I really like you and I really like spending time with you. And you'll know because she will have to tell you. And she will either lie and be like, no, and you'll know if she's lying. Or you will know because she'll tell you she's not. And you hopefully trust that person and trust the person you're hanging out with. But from asking her that question, you will know. So the best way to know if she's seeing other guys is to ask the question of, are you seeing other people? I wouldn't phrase it like that. I wouldn't say, are you seeing other people? Because that sounds like a little, are you seeing other people? Like I would phrase it as like, I'm not seeing anybody else right now and I don't want to. How do you feel about what's going on here? Because I like you. All right. That is the episode. Thank you so much for listening to Guy Set, a guy's guide to what should be talked about. I really liked that one. I like answering anonymous questions. Everything is anonymous. I hope I said that in the beginning because I got a little stuck on that sex ed story, but I hope I shared that everything is anonymous. Everything will always be anonymous. I'll never give a name or who wrote it in. I can't even see half the people who wrote these in. You can also send a fake email, by the way, like on my website, guyset.com, where you leave a submission form where like half of these came from. You can write like josh69.com. Like, no, it doesn't matter. It doesn't require anything. I don't even know how to set up the requirement thing on the website. So you can write literally whatever you want in your email. Your name can be whatever. These are all anonymous. I don't know who wrote in any of these, but I appreciate every single one of you for writing in, and I hope I answered your question or at least gave you advice or my perspective on it, and it helped you determine or decide what you should do next, or just gave you advice on it, and now you get to decide and you get to make that decision. So thank you all for writing in, and I look forward to doing this again next month. I really like doing these. Thank you so much for listening to Guy Set, a guy's guide to what should be talked about. I'm Josh. I'm 25 years old, and I'm here every single week, every single Tuesday to talk about what should be talked about for guys in their 20s. If you liked this episode, I really hope you did. Please like, subscribe, and give this podcast 5 stars in the review. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 stars, not 4, not 3. No, that's 5 stars. Thanks so much for that. I really, really appreciate that. If you want to talk about that should be talked about for guys in their 20s, send to my email, my DMs, or on the website, guyset.com, like you all did here. Half of you did. My email is josh@guyset.com, josh@guyset.com. My DMs are at theguyset, THEGUYSET, on Instagram, TikTok, all social media platforms. There's somebody impersonating me on TikTok right now. I think that's kind of crazy. If you search, actually don't search for them, but there's somebody that's like reposting all my videos and messaging people that follow me. It's crazy. I have to figure that out. So So where was I? TikTok, so YouTube, everything. And then my website, guyset.com, GUISET.com. You can leave a submission right there. As I said, it can be completely anonymous. You can write literally whatever you want. And I will answer it like I did with these. Thank you all for writing, and I loved doing this. Thank you so much for listening to Guy Set, a guy's guide to what should be talked about, and I will see you guys next Tuesday. See you guys.